Wake that ass up. Early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy. That was Jeezy. Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Just Hilarious is here.
Hey.
And let's get to some front page news. Good morning, Tiz.
Good morning, DJ Envy. Good morning, Jess. Let me say, Jess, nobody holds that seat down the way you do. Let me be clear about it. I love it when you're here.
Thank you, girl.
And good morning, Charlamagne the Guy.
Peace,
That's the Daily Show all week.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's jump in to start off with sports. Now, the Steelers, like Jess said, beat the Titans last night, 2016.
Yes, we did.
And Victor, what's his last name, Charlamagne? Yeah, he scored a career high of 38 points last night. The Spurs beat the Suns. 132-121. What?
Wembanyama.
We drop on the clues bar for Just Hilarious. You play with her.
Yeah,
okay.
Oh, we go ahead, Jess.
Thank you.
All right, now let's jump to some front page news. Let's talk about these homeschooling rates.
Yeah, a story came out, Black Enterprise. I want you guys to know this. After the pandemic, homeschool enrollment rose by 30% and continues to rise as the country's fastest growing form of education. Now, during COVID, homeschooling increased across all racial ethnic groups, but none witnessed the same dramatic upward trend like Black families. According to the data by the Census Bureau, only 3% of Black families were homeschooling in the beginning of 2020 compared to 16% by October of the same year. Now, after analyzing the data from 32 states and the District of Columbia, the results found that it was a 51 increase in homeschooled children in the U.S. since 2017. Now, a few reasons why Black families choose to homeschool is school violence and shootings. You know, obviously we see an increase in shootings, bullying, school choice, and whitewashed history and banned books. So I thought that was a really interesting story. People didn't know that homeschooling went up. So let me ask you, Jess, we all have kids. Have you ever homeschooled your son or thought about it?
That's actually interesting. Yes, I actually thought about homeschooling him for a couple years in a row, just because, the
world is crazy.
Yeah,
all these mass
crazy.
Shootings and everything else. You damn right. I be thinking about that all the time.
Yep. And then he goes, and then not even only that. That's more importantly, but not even only that. He goes, to school in where we're from, and people, 8th graders. He's in the 6th grade. 8th graders come to his class, and oh my God, he don't like all that. He does not like all the attention.
Would it be like, that's just son? Or?
Yeah. Okay, oh my God. Your mother be on wilding out, and he just don't like it. It's a lot of unnecessary attention for him. He 11. He like, yo, this is clowned out.
What do you feel about if taking them out? Because one of the things with homeschooling is them not getting that interaction.
That's why I wouldn't. That's why I wouldn't do it. That's the only reason why. Because during the COVID pandemic, you had to do it.
Yeah.
And they missed that social experience. They miss hanging with their friends. They miss things that parents can't teach them. And even though they have siblings, they miss that friendship, the things that they can touch, whether it's designing and making things. Yeah. That's the only reason why I wouldn't do it.
There's the flip side to that too, because I got people in my family who didn't want to go back to school after COVID. They like being homeschooled. So,
and then I think as long as you keep them in it, because he's in football, he likes basketball, he likes soccer. So as long as I keep him in like a sport or something, I think, keep him around kids constantly, then outside of homeschooling, I think he'll be fine. But what the pandemic did for me, I got to know my son in the pandemic, which is, is good. It was a better bond created between me and him because we were at home. We didn't really have to,
Yeah. The only thing with homeschooling, too, is I know during the pandemic, the kids will find every excuse not to be on that laptop. They'd be cutting grass outside. They'd be like, hey, Dad, they're cutting grass outside. They'd be like, I want a snack. I got to go to the bed. Like, they find every excuse to get off that laptop. You know what I mean? And at school, they got to sit there. They can't make those excuses up,
Yeah, a lot of parents found out how real it is, had a lot more respect for teachers, when they had to actually homeschool. Like, it's a real job. So, I don't know, some folks do homeschooling and hire professionals to come do it, have tutoring, outside teachers who were doing that. So I just thought it was an interesting time since we all have kids. My daughter was 16 and half of the school went back after pandemic and half stayed home. She loved, like you mentioned, DJ Amy, going to school, for the experience, but she did love half the school gone. She wasn't into the, having a big crowd. So I guess it just works, depending on the kid. But I thought that was an interesting story. If you guys want to read more about it, go to Black Enterprise because they, flushed that out on why Black parents were, choosing that as an option.
All right. Well, that is front page news. See you in a little bit, Tiz.
Absolutely.
Everybody else, get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open again. 800-585-1051. Get it off your chest. It's a Friday. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up. Early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We have Jess Hilarious here, our special guest host. And let's get back in some front page news. What up, Tiz?
Going on, DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy.
Hey,
Peace,
girl.
Taz.
Now, if you were listening early, Jess told us she was watching the Steelers game last night, and the Steelers beat the Titans 2016.
Indeed.
And Victor, what's his name, Jess?
Wembanyama.
That's right. He scored a career high of 38 points. They beat the Suns last night. Now, let's jump right into it, Tess. Let's talk about vaping with students.
Now, earlier this morning, we talked about homeschooling, and this is another reason why some folks, want to pull their kids out of school because of, possible drug use or vaping or any of those other things. And Jess, you had mentioned hookah this morning.
Yes, I did.
So this study came out as well. It says that fewer high school students are vaping this year. So that's a good thing. In a survey, 10% of high school students said that they used the electronic cigarettes in previous months, but it's down 14% from last year. Now, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report, the use of any tobacco product, including cigarettes and cigars, also fell this year among high schoolers. And they're saying the reasons for the drop is health officials believe a number of the factors could be helping, including the price. The price has been increasing, and also to limiting the sales to kids by raising the legal age to 21. So they believe that those are the two reasons that vaping has gone down. So.
I can't stand vaping, man. My daughter I be picking up my daughter from high school sometime, and you automatically like, I hope you ain't smoking that vape, because sometimes she be smelling like it. But
Really?
it's because all of these kids,
All the kids,
she walk in the
Yeah,
bathroom
they be
and
in
these
the
kids be doing
bathroom.
it. I be like, man, I'm about to start telling on folk.
Yeah.
You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? I be complaining all the time.
I could not even see your older daughter doing it. She'd be like,
Nah.
oh my God, what is that?
Exactly. That's exactly what she be saying.
Like,
Because I
that's
go in the
scary.
bathroom and everybody's on it. They be doing it.
They're on it. They're on vapes.
You remember earlier this year when I did the story about how these kids were, that some kids were going to the hospital as a result of it, really getting sick because again, you don't know what people are putting in this stuff, so I was glad to see this. My daughter's 16. So she said the same thing, your daughter says, they do this like in the bathroom. This is what they're doing in the bathroom, every day. So I'm always concerned about that because everybody's body reacts to something different, and
That's right.
they're just doing bad things with that. So
And says, I'm not gonna lie, I was vaping like when it first got hot. I was like, okay, cool. I was vaping, but I noticed it would make me go straight to the bathroom and I would get a headache. It,
mess up your stomach.
literally mess
Doo-doo.
up my stomach. Yep, it would literally make me mess. Just say number two. I just say it bad firm, like that's it. Like it
So
would
what
make
do
me
you
go
get?
to the
So what do
bathroom.
people get out of it? So when you say your best friend do it, I know people like to do it in the club, the
Yeah.
smell.
It's like a slight high.
No, Sheena don't vape.
Well,
Sheena do
Sheena
hookah.
likes to do it because she see everybody else doing
you
it.
vape, Sheena?
Yeah, no. Okay.
Sheena said, tell him what you do. I don't say nothing about that fentanyl you be on.
Jesus.
Don't play with me. Don't play with me.
But I know it gives them a slight high, and then I know a lot of people have like an oral fixation, like they got to just put things in their mouth pores.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do
Pause,
that
oral
a lot.
fixation.
Yeah, they do. A lot of people just do it.
Yeah, it actually is like comforting. Like remember you said the crop tops are comforting. Yeah, vape
never
is
said
like
that.
kind
You
of
said that the other day.
comforting.
You did say
You
that.
know,
I never said
it's
that.
something
I'll
to
say
do.
this one thing that bothers me. I don't know if you, but like in the club when they're passing around that heat, it's burnt my leg before.
The hookah or the coal.
Yeah,
The coal.
yeah, like burn my clothes. Like you get too close. I done had my clothes holes burning. So that
You got
that's
too many
one of
people
the
at
things.
your
I was
table
like,
if you
where
get that
you
close.
going?
Yeah, right. What kind of club is that?
Where you be at?
But
Yeah, it was packed, and they trying to walk around and give everybody,
Well, yeah.
the vapor. I don't know what it's called because I don't do it, but
The coals.
what is it called?
Coals.
The coals.
Coals.
Little
A bunch
hot
of people
coals.
who really want to have a campfire but scared to go in the woods. That's all it is.
But I would also say too, I noticed too, with my two older kids, they played sports, so they never wanted to indulge in anything like that because it was always they wanted to, prepare their body for Logan with football, Madison when she played basketball. So because of the sports, they never really touched it or thought about it or did anything with hookah or pens or vapor, none of that.
Yeah.
Now let's jump right into the next story. Discharge lemonade.
Yeah, I want people to know about this. A warning with Panera Bread. I love Panera Bread. And I wanted to give you an update on now when you go to Panera Bread, there will be a warning label. Many of you may not read the label, so I thought this was a good story. Let's listen to the report.
The restaurant chain Panera Bread is now changing the label on its charged lemonade. This after a death was linked to the drink. A disclosure is now posted inside restaurants and on the app. alerting customers that it contains 390 milligrams of caffeine in one serving. Earlier this month, a college student with a heart condition died after consuming the drink because she didn't realize that it was caffeinated. Her family is now suing the restaurant. According to the FDA, healthy adults can drink up to 400 milligrams of caffeine per day.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they need to discontinue that.
Like
that's
what?
a label.
What you talking about?
Like somebody done died. Discontinue.
Yeah, but that sounds like that's probably any energy drink. If she didn't know it had caffeine in it and she knew she had heart problems, and they should have had a label on it, because that's the same thing with drinking any energy drink that has caffeine in it, right?
I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was them, I would pay for another autopsy. Because that's bad. That's very bad publicity. You need to make sure that is what the cause of her death was. Make sure she didn't have nothing else in her system or anything.
Yeah. Well, she had a heart condition. So, like, remember we did a story, again, earlier this year, and we talked about how they, what was it in? Because you said your kids order it a lot, that energy drink.
They used to order Prime, not the energy one, the regular Prime. They're over that now, but yeah, they used to order Prime. But so somebody also said there's a water, Celsius water that people are drinking. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. That's bad too?
I guess it's an energy type of water. I don't know.
Well, before we get out of here, I want to remind people that this week the time will go back. So on Sunday, make sure you set your clocks back. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. And just a fun fact about daylight savings. People may realize, well, why is it at midnight, or should it be 2 a.m.? So I want to give you a fun fact that they decided to do it at 2 a.m. because they said that most people that work during that time, instead of doing it at midnight, people that have early shifts are still in bed. People like that work at bars and restaurants are already closed. So that is why it's 2 a.m. opposed to midnight. You want to know more fun facts about that? Google fun facts about the time change. Thought it was really interesting. So yeah, set your clocks back this weekend. Now,
I heard on the news says that they were trying to get rid of it. Is that true? That Congress is trying to get rid of it? Why?
Yep. Yeah, it was one point because if you go back and see the reason why they did it, there were times where they said it was good to conserve energy. There was also time. Remember, in the original reason why they wanted to do it because of the farmers, having more time. Yep. And so they just really said it's no purpose. And even that, when I was looking up the research, because I went down a rabbit hole on this, Arizona, I don't think Arizona does it at all. So they're the state that just stays consistent all throughout the year. So you're right. Earlier this year, Congress talked about just getting rid of it. And I guess, that has not happened yet, but that was a conversation. So we'll see if they ever change it. Do you like it going back or forward?
I'm just so used to it.
Yeah, I'm so used to it too. Like it doesn't, especially now with the iPhone, it does it on its own.
Automatically. Yeah. So
I just be trying to figure out how they play with time like that.
Yeah.
How can you just play with time?
How does Arizona decide not to do it, but New York does? Like the time got to be a little off.
And then in London, they're 6 hours ahead of us, so they technically in the future.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do y'all feel like
in the future, LA and California right now?
3 hours.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you get your body? Because that was another thing I found on the fun facts, like on how the health, on getting the extra hour or the psychological, you feel like you're getting the extra hour. Do you feel that way when they go up or back? Does your body change?
No,
not to me.
No, not to you.
I know we had more time outside because in the summer, we had more time outside. Then it started getting dark at 6, 5 and 6.
And then you got to get home before the street lights come on.
You got to get home before street lights on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you, Tez. You have a good weekend.
Absolutely. You too.
Thanks, girl.
Charla?
Oh, and make sure you subscribe to Tezlyn Figaro's podcast, The Straight Shot No Chaser podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network, and follow at Tezlyn Figaro on all social media platforms.
Wake that ass up early in the morning. The Breakfast Club.